Hello, welcome to the Dimp Digital Podcast. We're on episode number 56. This time you got myself, Apps, Logan, and Hall. Gents, how are we doing?
Yep, good.
Excellent. Mr. Hall?
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Well, it's good that you lot are doing well, because I'm not ill.
Cool.
So it's not been a
No.
sick puppy this week I've been, which has not been ideal. So if I cough during this, I'll do my best to direct the air away from the microphone, but it comes on quite suddenly as Hall's probably it'll be worse than that. It will really sting this microphone. I've got a pop filter on it, but it's not cutting out that sort of pressure. It comes out of my gob at an accelerated amount of speed, which is a ridiculous piece of business. I think we're a little bit light on news this week, so I don't know how long this will go on for, or whether what we're even going to talk about is actually of any interest. But there's a couple of bits that are of interest, I think, anyway. But if we get to some other stuff, you think, why are they talking about that? It's because we're just trying to fill time and waste your time. So I'm afraid you have to deal with that. But last week,
Be honest with
this just set this bar now, isn't it? It's not worth. It is not worth lying to them.
Out there.
It's just not worth lying to them at this stage. Me being ill ain't helped.
Any level of quality.
No.
Cast.
No.
What's Trackmania Turbo?
Trackmania Turbo is like a racing game where you can create your own tracks, and it's kind of like an arcadey, wacky game. Apparently, there's like procedurally generated circuits. I've got a beta code for it, but not switched it on yet for Xbox.
Oh, I've got one of them. I've just got a reminder email literally just come through.
I
don't remember signing that off though.
I mean, that particular comment sounds just like general chat there, Logan. I'm not sure if it's appropriate for a pod. Oh, it's fine, because like I said, we're struggling for time, so probably best if you get any more emails, just let us know who they're from.
Yeah.
And we'll have
I genuinely forgot we were doing a podcast then.
Already?
Yeah, I genuinely forgot.
Solid,
Yeah.
That's why. But that's
start.
staying. Yeah.
Yeah.
As we said, high quality throughout.
I mean, if they've got 56 episodes in, they know what we're like. They know what to expect, especially when it's you two, which is meant to be called the Dream Team. But this is not. The Dream Team has not been together for a while, so it's probably going to be worse out of practice.
Well,
We'll see how it goes. But last week we had a kind of a new feature that was introduced, and it was called. Let me just do the little jingle, because Logan never got in my jingle.
Crooks of the Week.
So that is.
What the fuck was that?
The one that I did was better than that.
Well, I haven't got it, have I? I need the.
Of the week.
Crooks of the Week.
So you get the gist of it. There's crooks out there in the game industry.
Crooks of the week.
What did you think it said?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounded like a muffled mess.
Well, it says deep voice, modifier on it. That
is top drawer.
Well, anyway, so crooks of the week is essentially, as I say, this is where I always sometimes use to stir trouble up. That's how I'm going to use it. So in this particular week's crooks of the week, to wind people up, or perhaps in some people they agree it is a crookish move. HTC release date has been announced, as well as the price. So I assume you both know what the price is for this, you two. Or do I need...
£200,000.
No, it's not.
$799, isn't it?
That is it. $799 US. Now, no European or UK price tag there, but if you convert it, it's 560 plus the obligatory sort of £100 markup they normally do for anything that's shipped over here. And then because that comes in at 660, you can see him going, well, that doesn't sound very right. Should we just knock it to 699? It sounds better, doesn't it?
I reckon it'd be 649.
649. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Pre-orders begin 29th of February for an April release date. Now, that is $200. We're going to do it in dollars because we've got no UK prices to go on, so let's just stick with dollars for this one. But that is $200 more than what the Oculus came in at, or is coming in at, which was $599. Shipping starts March 28th. Was you expecting it? I was expecting it to be more, and I think $200 is probably about right, considering it's meant to be the better headset, and it has
controllers as well.
It has extra, and it's got, if you can install the cameras to increase the experience. Now, I want to go to Logan first on this. I know he loves just throwing money away, so I think this would be an interesting purchase for you, wouldn't it? At $799 US, get it imported.
I don't know who's decided that they've got that sort of money to blow on it. What are you going to be doing?
Playing games on it.
What are we going to be playing then?
Pong.
You see, there's nothing wrong with a good computer in porn. I haven't at any point. It doesn't need to be enhanced yet. So.
You ask because you haven't experienced it.
I think it's just a lot of money, and I think I don't know how they've come up with that and gone for a consumer product.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So $7.99. That's too much. What would be a more?
Oh, see, this is so difficult.
Getting up to now, aren't I?
£30.
It's well, yeah. Because you got to remember, this stuff is new technology. It's fucking expensive to make.
I mean, when I think about it, what an iPad over here is like 450 quid or something for a top-notch one, maybe even more than that. And I think, what are we doing on that? So,
absolutely more than that.
Yeah.
So I think,
it is, yeah.
like, in the grand scheme of things, for an extra £100 or whatever it's going to be, and you get that, when you put into context with somebody, because it's a gadget, right?
Yeah.
Let's put it out there, it's a gadget. So when you put it in the context of some of the other gadgets, even if you go look at the prices of...
Jesus, she's the one ill now.
Yeah, it's got fucking something caught up in my throat.
Excellent.
If you look at the price of some of the other gadgets, it's probably not far off really, but I think we got so used to gaming stuff being so affordable now that when something like this comes out, which is a gadget, we get stung by it. And
do you feel the same way, Hall? Or can you understand? Who would be willing to get it?
I think it's about right. I was absolutely anticipating it being that price. Don't get me wrong, it's not something that I'm going to be able to go out and buy straight away. But like the thing is, like Logan was saying about gaming we've accepted should have become slightly more affordable. You compare that to like people who buy gaming rigs for PCs and stuff, and it's just they're much more likely to go out and spend £1,000 putting together a gaming rig. Like I'm not going to pay £1,000 for a console, never in a million years.
But so, you'll pay £120 for Destiny.
Nintendo NX 999.
Well, that ain't gonna happen, is it? Because Nintendo aren't cunts like that.
Well,
they'll just start stuff online instead. No, but we'll have to wait and see. But no, I like I say, it's pretty much in line with where I thought it would be. By the sounds of things, everyone who I've spoken to that's used them both has said the HTC Vive was considerably better than the Oculus. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sort of super, stunned by it as such. So,
no, I mean,
we'll have to wait and see what happens.
I think when you're spending the sort of money that people spend on a gaming rig, this sort of money is not, that's normal to be spending that sort of money. Either upgrading bits and bobs or getting a new rig or doing whatever. Dave Salmon's admitted he spent hundreds of pounds on keyboards and stuff like that. I mean, unnecessary stuff. But when that's like your pride and joy, isn't it? Because you use it a lot, and when you build something like that, it's yours. It's not like you just get it off the manufacturing bloody production line at a PlayStation 4. It all looks the same. This is your, you can customize these things, and people do take pride in what they've got, sitting there and how it looks, and obviously how it performs. So. I think that sort of price will, it'll raise a few eyebrows in that section, but when you look at what it's doing, we've never had anything this advanced.
No, I'm more
in the
intrigued
industry
to see how much games cost. Because
I
kind of get the feeling that a lot of the games initially are going to be like basic look around,
walking simulator type games.
There's not going to be much to them. So when the games start to become a little bit more intricate and a little bit more involved, it's going to be more interesting from my point of view to see when they go 80 quid per game, and it's like, right, well, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm paying that.
No.
So, I don't know. Maybe they won't. Maybe the games will be cheap. Maybe they'll be really expensive. But it's just going to be interesting to see when that factor comes in as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm not sure how much original stuff we're going to get to start with on these things.
Very little, I should imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be a handful, isn't it?
And walking simulators, basically.
Walking simulators, yeah. You get a couple of like space combat games like I think Eve Valkyrie is one of them, and
floating simulator.
Yeah, well, almost, yeah. But those sort of things will work nicely. Loden, you said countless times that you want if you're going to get VR, you want to make sure the games are made specifically for VR. You don't want Alien Isolation ported to VR.
Yeah.
If you'd bought one of these, would you not want the option to have those games as well? And you go, oh, you know what? I'll bung Project Cars on and see what that's like in VR.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know why, but my purist head says these games weren't designed to be played that way. Doesn't mean they wouldn't necessarily be good that way, but
are you getting your money's worth out of it?
Yeah, and I'd like something to be every aspect of it is designed for that virtual reality.
Built from the ground up.
Well, yeah, a little bit, and I understand they've got to start somewhere with it, which is fine. And if they started from the ground up on everything, they'd have a console but no game for 2 years. So you've got to be realistic about it. But I think I think we're in sort of a halfway house. I think VR can be good, but I think we're still trying to do it with controllers, and we're sort of trying to patch it on somewhere. I think I've said before, I'm not sold by VR yet. I think it can be good.
Yeah.
But I'm yet to see where gaming goes with VR.
Yeah. Paul, do you think even gaming is the number one, medium for virtual reality?
No,
Do you think
porn
there's
is.
apart from porn, do you think maybe doing other things like, I don't know, fucking meeting people or watching a film like your whole screen is on there, like that sort of stuff? Or do you think that gaming is going to be the one that pushes it forward and gets people to like buy into it essentially? Or will something else pop up and they go, actually we'll start using VR for that?
I think gaming is going to be the most viable initially.
Yeah, people that go to watch bloody films aren't paying £1,800 for a rig to watch films on, so
exactly.
it's expensive.
And the thing is as well, like recording a film with such a wide angle would be nigh impossible.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the videos that you see floating around, where you can move your phone about or whatever to look about. People have to have a 360-degree camera for that. And it's like, it just wouldn't be possible, because where would you have your lighting rigs? Where would you have your cameras? Where would you have your rest of your production crew or whatever?
Yeah.
It's for me, gaming seems like the most viable option initially, but that said, how long it'll take them to get it right is another matter.
Do you expect it to take a long then?
Not sort of ages and ages, but like I say, it really depends on what you define as being the games as well. Because if it is literally just like walking simulator or dodge stuff coming towards you simulator or look around simulator, then I'm not that bothered. But because you can't really do it without a controller at the minute.
No.
There's nothing where it superimposes you in and you can physically touch things and move stuff around or whatever. It doesn't put your hands into the game unless you've got controllers in them. So
yeah, which operate.
Yeah. So initially we'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure there'll be some good stuff out there. And end of the day, like, we're all kind of being a bit blasé about it, but it's a fucking huge step forward in technology from what we're currently dealing with. It's not like credit where credit's due. Anything in virtual reality is going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But until you've kind of got it out and it's on, like it's at consumer-based release, and it's a household item.
Yeah.
Because it's all well and good looking at demos and looking at stuff at events and bits and pieces, but you never really get a proper idea of it until it's out and people have actually got it and they tell you, no, it's shit, or it works. So.
Yeah. Without me putting the dampers on it, and I don't plead to know exactly how it is, but
put a fucking dampener right on this now.
It is.
Crookham.
It is a step forward, but I don't think it's a giant, massive leap in game.
Oh!
Look, you've got a phone which has got a gyroscope in it. You can use that essentially now for VR. It's not like, if my phone can cope with that on basic games, it's not that clever. I mean, it is clever, but it's not at the same time. It's pretty basic, and at the moment, all we can do is use it really to look around an environment, and that doesn't really blow me away yet.
No. Well,
so
that's the thing. That's why I was mentioning about the other kind of mediums, because even David Hayes' last fight against Mark Demore, you could actually, if you was outside of the UK, you could download an app on your smartphone, and if you had Google Cardboard, pop it on and watch the fight on your phone in VR, sit in a seat and be there watching
you have a seat. So Hall said you need a 360 degree.
There's no fucking cunt with his fucking great air in the way, and you can see getting up, clear view.
So I reckon you'd still, if they did take it in the films, you would have a point of view of that film, but you could still look around the environment.
Yeah.
So not 360, but like a 180 degree.
Yeah.
Well, possibly, yeah. So because your head can't move 360 degrees, can it?
Well, mine can, but it hurts my neck.
No, locked down.
You got stuck in a chair. You're stuck in a chair. That's what he's saying.
Eventually, all they'll do is just superimpose you into an environment anyway, holographically, I expect. But that's probably a bit of a way away.
You'll be going through the eyes of James Bond, experiencing it all. That'll make you feel sick, mind you. But I was livid about the David Hay fight. It was only available outside the UK. I was gutted because I'd have been well up for watching that just to see how it is. But did not get the opportunity for that. So HTC pricing at $799 US. Do they get a Crooks of the Week pass, or do they get stung and get called Crooks of the Week?
I think it's alright. We'll wait and see though.
No crookage from Hall. Logan.
They get a minor Crooks of the Week because the thing that always annoys me about these gadgets is that the pricing, the percentage on them that they get of profit is just ridiculous. Like iPhones cost hardly anything to produce really, and they sell them for equivalent of probably £1,000 over the time of a contract. So
well, that's Apple though, rather than.
I'm just saying that's the only thing I've got to go by in it. So I'm likening it to a gadget. Apple stuff is gadgets.
Well, Oculus have come out and said they're actually running at a loss pretty much
Bollocks.
for this first year.
Fuck.
Well, that is what they're saying.
For a second.
They won't run at a loss when they start producing more, because they're only producing a finite amount. The production, obviously, per unit is more expensive when you actually churn them out. The cost of materials and labour comes down. But that's what they're saying. So are you saying they should be Crooks of the Week?
Yeah, they should be for that fucking lie of a comment.
I don't know. They could, at this point in that project, on that budget, they could be running at a loss.
Don't forget, they've got bloody Zuckerberg money, $2 billion funding it. To be honest, they could run it at a loss for the next 10 years. And he ain't going to care, is he?
He absolutely is. Businessman.
Mate, he doesn't care, but that's pocket money for him.
I think they realise that the person that cracks this and makes it affordable, or the company that does it, is going to be very successful in the future, one way or another. This technology will be utilised. So,
do you think there'll only be one eventually? One sole kind of like platform? Will it be like like DVD and HD DVD and Betamax and VHS, that sort of thing?
Maybe. I like the way they're the comparisons.
Well,
rather than Xbox and PlayStation.
But there's still two of them, isn't there?
I think there'll be. I think there'll be companies that have their own version of it. But there will be one that will be the market leader inevitably.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah. Okay. I mean, you was talking about who can get it affordable and crack the market. We've got HTC at $799, Oculus at $599, March and April releases for both of those. PlayStation VR, they've let the cat out of the bag and basically said at GDC they are going to be announcing the more details, which I can only imagine is going to be price and a release date. So that's March the 15th. So look out for that, because as soon as that news drops, we will be over, and who knows, we might have another Crooks of the Week. And once again, Hall's phone is vibrating, which is becoming a weekly occurrence.
I don't know how you can hear that. I can't even hear it.
Because the phone vibrates.
There you go.
It's doing it.
I don't know how you can hear it.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Explain the logic.
That's it. Just put it on complete silent, I would suggest.
Can't promise anything, mate.
For the next 40 minutes at least. But March 15th, PlayStation VR. Now, they've not announced any price or details or anything like that. It's got to be cheaper than those two, isn't it, really? That's what they need to do, surely, Logan. It's got to be.
I would have thought so, because the PS4 has been the affordable console, so they've got to have the affordable solution.
Yeah, exactly. That's us.
That's where they've placed themselves in the market. So if they go $650, you go, that's twice the cost of your console. What are we doing?
Yeah.
So I think they've got to get it right. It surely, in my mind, the cost of it can't be too much more than the actual console.
No.
Can and will.
Which puts it around £300.
Yeah. Which I think, that's a lot cheaper than the other two.
I think that's a reasonable price for it at the moment.
Yeah. A little bit more than that.
But that's the trouble, is that because they're going up against competition that's sort of around 550, 800, they'll go, why do we need to undercut it that much?
Well, the thing is as well, if Oculus are operating at a loss, which I highly doubt, but if they are, there is absolutely 0% that Sony will take that tolerance. They will go, right, there's no fucking way that we're operating at a loss. We want to see 100% profit margin on each one of our units. Pump them out there at 600 quid.
Yeah.
They won't get people buying it for 600 on a console.
Won't matter to them.
Well, it will, because they put all that fucking hassle in and nobody's buying it, so they'll go, fucking hell.
Do it anyway, mate. Don't care.
So you think it's going to be higher than that? You think it's going to be around the same as an Oculus type thing?
Yep.
Wow. That to me would be suicide.
I think so. I think that'd be absolute marketing suicide. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, if it was 350 or 300, say 400 tops, you go, okay, that's fine. Then you surely have to look at it and say, what are they cutting out of that? What sort of level of tech are we using?
I think
that's another problem they're going to have. If it comes in cheaper, people are going to go, it ain't good enough because the tech's clearly not good enough. It's not as good as the Oculus. If it comes in any higher, people will go, what the fuck is that, Sony?
Yeah. It's going to be really hard for them. But I think the consoles have got a lot of winning round to do, because I remember when Xbox started waffling on about the Kinect and how it's going to revolutionise everything. And
well, it does. I talk to it every day, mine.
It fucking doesn't.
Well,
talk to it. It's basically a listening device. It might as well just be a microphone attached to it, because no one uses a Kinect for voice for activation, for commands, visual commands, or for even playing games really now. It's very rare. It's not been utilised how they thought it would. So, no. I mean, I know I'm wary of it as well, that they go, this is the next thing in gaming, and then they go, it hasn't really worked out, has it? People are just happy with a TV and a controller, so they don't want to price people out of it, and people have sitting there going, do I really need this? Do I get this for my son for birthday, Christmas? It's going to be really hard, I think. I think it's really hard to win people over with it.
Yeah, you're right, because they're not used to buying peripherals really for a console.
No.
As I will go back to PC, but you can buy all sorts of stuff to enhance your experience on that. You know, having bloody headphones is the mainstay, and they're not cheap.
No.
Having those, whereas when you get a console, I think the reason why we buy consoles is that we pay 300 quid, 400 quid, and that's it. We're done. No more upgrading. No more having to do it for another 5 to 8 years.
I see it as an acceptable compromise. That
you do. You take a hit, and that's the question. If they do go lower than the Oculus and the HTC, will PlayStation VR be an acceptable compromise for people to go? You know, this is the modest price VR that appeals to a wider audience.
That's what it's got to be. I think if they don't crack this one, then they've blown it.
The thing is with Sony, if it doesn't work out, they are quite happy just to throw things in the bin. They've done it with PlayStation Eye, they've done it with PlayStation Move. Didn't work, they went fuck it and literally just pulled the plug on it and walked away. Which is not good for people that bought into it and thought, yeah, this is going to be great, but you know, you have to respect it. They just go, nah, I'm not dealing with that anymore. It's an absolute hemorrhaging of money.
You see, what I think, I'm in an iron about why Microsoft haven't been too proactive in this sort of stuff, and I wonder if they're still working on.
Still doing tellies, mate.
Well, no, you know,
trying to get that right.
HoloLens,
basically, I think is where they're seeing it, rather than necessarily.
That is their equivalent.
That's Xbox One, isn't it? That's what they're going for. It's a completely separate.
Yeah, I think that the HoloLens, augmented reality, is a better way to go with it at the moment than virtual reality.
Why is that? Because you're not cut off from the world, or you just
I think
less strain on your brain.
The one thing that I think VR should do, and I think the thing that it struggles with, is people generally have stuff in the room. So if you're trying to use the room as an environment, it doesn't.
Well, like HTC will, because you've got cameras, so they encourage you to be doing that. Yeah, you're right.
And I just think they don't take into account the objects in your room, but the HoloLens does, and you can build around that and use it. I mean, obviously you couldn't play like a racing game in that environment. But it's got a lot of potential.
That is my concern with the HoloLens, is that it really does restrict what type of games I can see playing on it. I mean, what would be great, in my opinion, so you've seen Minecraft, fine, but what would be great is if you could have a platformer that builds around objects in your room that you go for. It's like a Limbo or something, and you've got a table, you got to that sort of thing. That would be the option. But then I think after that, you can't play bloody COD on that.
No, but I quite like the idea of having some sort of game that you can. So someone else has got a HoloLens, and say, like you're out in a park or whatever, you put the HoloLens on, you can get like a ball or something, and it's really basic stuff. But I think I'd like it that you could play games that adapt to certain scenarios.
Procedural.
Yeah, and I think that's got a bit of potential. Obviously, you're not going to be able to play all these immersive games on it, but I think if they can get that right first, I think that's a step rather than going full on maybe into VR. But I think for me, it's just because I've had a very limited experience with VR. But
did you get to play at EJEX or anything?
Nah, the only thing I did was at Rezzed when we did that.
Jetpack sure. Yeah, that was it.
Even that's got its limitations. So
yeah.
Swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Paul, I remember when you was talking, when we was still scrapping about buying PS4 or Xbox One, and was all going, oh, I'm going to get this, you're going to get that, what should we get, all that sort of business. And I wish to God was doing the podcast back then, because that would have been fascinating to go through that journey.
Really
But
blown it.
yeah, it wasn't to be, unfortunately, because there was some good chat going on. I remember you sending me, I think you may have even tweeted me a patent for, I think it must have been the HoloLens. It's something very similar where your room becomes the game, and it projects the environment on your walls and stuff. Is that you always said that looks really appealing? They've got this in the bag. Is that what you see the HoloLens being? Is that what you'd rather get if you had a choice between VR or AR?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't.
He's
really
forgot
know.
about that. He
Well,
absolutely forgot about that statement.
No, I hadn't.
That's what's
So I
happened.
still want the HoloLens, and I still think it looks cool, but I think it's going to be easier for them to get VR right than it is to get AR right.
Yeah, because there's a lot more factors, aren't there?
Yeah.
VR, you're locked in. They go, right,
Yeah.
this is what you can see, this is what you
You're
can do.
restricted by so much stuff in AR, like littlest things, like you know how when Microsoft were at E3 and they were doing their Minecraft projections on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, what happens if you've got something on the table? What happens if you put something on the table?
Yeah.
What happens if it can't read the dimensions of the edge of your table? Like, there's a lot of things that will go into it. Whereas VR, you know, you're kind of sat in a chair or stood up and you're locked in pretty much, aren't you? That's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd like to see AR, but I don't think it'll happen first. I think Microsoft's equivalent, if they do make it the HoloLens, and that's what they invest all their money into, I can't see it happening for a couple of years.
Nah, I would agree with that. Let's finish off that particular bit with some quick predictions for PlayStation VR. So what I want out of you guys is a targeted release. So you can, if you say like later this year, obviously give us like a quarter maybe, or a month if you want to be that specific, and a potential price, a prediction of what you think will happen. So let's start with Logan. What do you think will happen? Will we get it early this year in time for Oculus and HTC? They're coming, shortly, or are we going to get it later?
Now, I reckon they've got this done now. I reckon it's ready to go. So I think they're going to strategically look
to a quick launch.
No, I think they'll probably look. They don't seem that fussed about getting their shit out there first.
Right. Is that a mistake?
No,
because people might come back and go, HTC, it's not all that HTC, and people go, Christ, that's meant to be the best one.
No, so I think that what we might see is a Q4 launch for Christmas.
Yeah.
And pricing it at $349.
Mr. Hall.
I was going to say similar time, but maybe Q1 next year.
All right, so you're going 2017.
Yeah,
that will break Biff's heart.
Well, I think it might be Q4 this year, but I can't see it being before that, personally. No. Just because it'll be harder for them to fix things with it. The thing is, with the Oculus and with the Vive, it just feels like it'd be easier for them to make tweaks to that on a PC, because stuff constantly changes on there. Whereas for the PlayStation, it would be like such a massive pain in the arse if they had to put out a load of patches and it didn't work with the operating system or any of that bollocks. So yeah, just for way of being different, go for Q1 next year, I guess. And then price wise, I reckon.
You reckon they're overcutting it? You said they're making profit out of this.
I reckon 550 to 600.
Cool, excellent. I'm going to go Q4 this year. I don't think it's ready. I think it's a mistake to release it later, because people
blow it. Everyone will get a Vive.
Well, the people who can afford it will. I mean, you still got, and this is the thing, if they release it at a modest price, then fine. But if it does come in a little bit on the high end, it won't be worth waiting for. But I'm saying Q4, which I think is a mistake. They need it out alongside the other two, and a £400 price point. And that's what we're going to see from Sony. Fact, locked in. Probably forget those, but when it does get announced, we'll go back through that again. Back on the Sony trail again. So Hall having an absolute nightmare here, but Hitman, the reboot beta, will be available to all PlayStation Plus members from March the 4th. Now, previously, this was a pre-order exclusive only, so if you pre-ordered on PlayStation 4, you'd get access to the beta in advance of the game coming out. They've now opened it up to all PlayStation Plus members, and there's still no sign of the beta on Xbox One or PC, which is a little bit odd because you'd think they want to test all their platforms, but Sony have probably locked down an exclusive deal there. But Logan, you're a PS Plus member.
Yeah.
Well, this is the sort of stuff that I want to see personally from having this membership, because I'm not having it. We're paying £35 to talk online and have a game now and again. I want more value like this being added. I think this is good. And it's not just because the game I want to play, but that does help.
Yes, I think it's
Yes.
The thing that
I like that. Yes.
The thing that I miss is a good game demo, right? So and demos don't happen anymore, really.
No.
Beta.
It's a beta, isn't it? Or it's effectively a demo available for a short period of time in my
Jesus.
my view.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I can get my hands on something for free, well, it's not, is it? But if I can get a bonus out of something, then I'll take it. Like, I wasn't particularly that fussed about playing the Division, but if it's there, I'll give it a go. See what I make of it. Helps me make a choice. Informed decisions, always good.
Yeah, I mean, we get kind of like, you get discounts like you do with Gold as well, and you get the free games every month. But I think it's about time they started branching out a little bit more and giving.
I think they've got a.
Because what they're doing is scandalous, really, isn't it?
I don't.
To lock multiplayer behind a paywall. Yeah.
Why do I have to pay? You don't have to necessarily do that for PC. Yeah, but it's bollocks.
Bullshit.
It's absolute nonsense.
Master Race go. Ha!
Yeah. So they do need to give something back, and generally, all the games they give out are fucking poor. But again, I'm a little bit reluctant to have a pop at them, because I was still paying this 5 years ago and getting nothing at all back. So.
Well, yeah, it was just literally, wasn't it? Just for online on the Xbox 360.
So, I'm getting more out of it now, but I think as soon as one goes, you can have that, the other's like, oh, you can do something here.
So you think Microsoft is sitting there going, oh.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me if they try and announce something, not necessarily at the same time, but they'll go, oh yeah, but look what
got to have a little look at that, yeah.
Yeah, because I've noticed that now you're getting Xbox 360 and Xbox One games. You get sort of like you normally get 3 free games from PS Plus a month now, so they've upped that.
Yeah.
So it's all just, they're trying to give away a little bit more, but the trouble is they're giving away nothing for nothing. So
it's like giving you a shit sandwich, like I said before.
Yeah, well, I don't really want that. If it's free, I'll take it, but I might have a bite and then chuck it in the bin.
I wouldn't even bite it. Hall literally bites every shit sandwich he's fed though every month. Yeah. That's what I've noticed. On his games with Gold, he's played nearly all of them at least once.
Yep.
Just has a little nibble. You love it, don't you? You love a little freebie just to nibble at, even if it is complete toilet.
And they usually are.
Ones on the Xbox have been scandalous.
Well, what I like about Xbox now is the 360 ones are coming back and they're backwards compatible. Yeah. It gives you it does give you more stuff to download. But
I haven't really worked this out yet. So if I want to play the 360 one, what annoys me, is that I can't download the 360 one to my one and play it through the emulator. Why is that not permitted? Huh?
What was the question? I missed something. I had a quick sip and then picked something up on my desk.
You get the 2 Xbox One games.
Yeah.
You go, great. Then you get the 2 360 games. You go, right.
Excellent.
That one looks interesting. Why can I not have that on my one? And then when I launch it, it plays through the emulator, and I go,
does it not do that?
No. Or
what does it do?
So when I go in there, it just shows you the Xbox One games because it recognises.
Yeah, no, you have to search for the 360 games and then download them.
Yeah, they put it out of the way, which is not helpful.
Well,
so you thought you couldn't get them?
Yeah.
No, they've been sitting there 2 months. Yeah, it is a pain in the arse. I'm not going to say they've made it easy for whatever reason. Like when you click other more games or whatever, it takes you to a fucking video. And I was like, I don't want this. It does it every time.
I think that's what I've tried to do before.
No, you just search for the games. You just have to know what the games are, and you search for them, and it goes, all right, there you go.
Yeah.
Why do they do stuff like this? Like when they're discussing this in the meeting, they go, right, how are we going to do it? We go, well, they can play them 360 games. They go, all right, cool. Should we put them on the main screen? Nah, just make them search for them.
Just really tuck it away from them.
Yeah. Why would you not want to go, yes, here's our games that we're giving you, play them? It doesn't compute why they have to make everything so hard. Like they've recently revamped the fucking dashboard so that you can do basic stuff that you used to always be able to do.
behind.
I don't understand it. It really frustrates me. Let's move on.
Well, I just wanted to get Hall in.
Yeah.
What do you want out of Games with Gold? Or are you happy to pay the online charge? Or would you want? Obviously, we all want more, but you know, are you happy with what you're getting? Like, do you think it is? Are they the crooks of the week? Maybe.
No, I don't mind.
You don't mind paying
I pay it
for the year?
Yeah, I just buy it through the Xbox Live, set up automatically.
Fucking, that's the most
Like,
expensive
people
way
like
to do
you
it.
Do this.
How much is that a year? 40.
$29.99 or something.
It's not.
40
No,
quid,
it's
something
not.
like that.
40 quid at least.
I think it is 40.
Don't know.
Go on CD Keys and get it for £22.
Yeah.
Nah.
Half price deals.
Easier this way.
You're an awful human being.
It annoys me that you do stuff like that and then you go, Rocket League, £15? Nah.
£4.
Yeah.
Expensive, isn't it?
Absurd. Absolutely absurd. Right, by the time this podcast drops, the Oscars are taking place this evening, but I imagine most people listen to this in the week, so the Oscars have probably already happened. Leonardo DiCaprio's got his Oscar. That's what people are talking about. It's job done. And Mad Max has popped up with the best editing. That's what's happened. If it hasn't, I've blown it, but that's the prediction there.
Leo definitely getting one.
Yeah, definitely.
Just to fucking shut people up.
Does he deserve one?
Whether he deserves it or not, he's got to get one.
Do you think he should have got one before now?
He's never
Maybe.
done a bad film.
Well,
I'd challenge a man to tell me he's done a bad film.
well. The challenge is out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you can find a bad film that Leonardo DiCaprio's in, tweet us at Dimp Digital, and we'll embarrass Logan on the upcoming podcast. But we're going to assume that he's going to get one. But we've put a little website feature that's going up on dimpdigital.com, so make sure you go over to the website. It is the one-stop shop for all things Dimp Digital. But in honour of the Oscars, we've kind of put together a little piece each. Apart from Logan, who decided to opt out of this one.
Yeah, I'm clocking out of this.
Why did you clock out of this particular discussion? You didn't want to. Basically, we said what are the best films based on games? What are the best games based on films? Piper was trying to tell us that Mad Max inspired the game, inspired the films, which is one of the most absurd things I'd ever heard of in my life. I couldn't believe.
Forgive him for that.
I just can't believe he'd never heard of Mad Max, like the first three, or at least the first two. Mel Gibson's like breakout role. And he was going, no, video game back in the 90s inspired Fury Road a decade later or 2 decades later. He was having a nightmare there, but you opted out. Like, at least you didn't embarrass yourself. That sort of knowledge,
right.
You kept out of it. What's the best film that is turned into a game, or the best game that's based on a film? Perhaps, maybe not a specifically plot by plot one, because they are tend to be bad. But what's your favourite in that respect?
There is generally,
shit.
Yeah, they're shit. It's very rare that you find a game that's based on a film that's actually done reasonably well. I've had quite a few, but most of them are shite. But the one that springs to mind as just being absolutely awesome was GoldenEye.
Yeah, and it followed the plot reasonably well. It was like a tie-in, wasn't it? Almost.
The campaign was good. Followed the story of the.
They are normally the worst, like movie tie-ins. They are normally 90% the worst. Like the ones that are based on film properties are normally a little bit better, but the ones that are just tied into the film's plot, they're shocking. But it wasn't. GoldenEye, one of the best.
Early enough that it was good. So yeah, that's been my pick. And then going the other way, film based on a game. How can you really look any further than Street Fighter?
Fuck off,
mate! It's such a good film.
It's not,
mate. If I ever want to see Jean-Claude Van Damme cast, I want to see him cast as Guile. Jean-Claude Van Damme, fucking Kylie Minogue.
Yeah.
Oh. And what's his name? Raul Juliez, is it? Can't remember what his name is.
Yeah, that is. I don't think that's a good film though.
Oh mate, it's an unbelievably good film.
Having that. Okay.
Absolutely unbelievably good film. Came out in 1995.
Did it?
Unbelievable.
That is sickening, isn't it?
20 years ago.
It. 21 years ago.
Got 12% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh. That is a testament to how good that film is.
Really struggled.
It's technically sound. Like, shocking. So my ones was a game that has inspired a film. So I'll do that one first. I said Pokemon the first movie, simply because And I guess this is a bit cheating, but it's because really that Pokemon, those little Game Boy games that were released in the mid '90s, they inspired a lot more than just Pokemon the first move. They've inspired, and influenced a massive, massive, multi-billion-dollar partnership with, the Pokemon Group setting up. The amount of stuff that they do, based just on those two little games, Red and Blue, is phenomenal. It is absolutely absurd what they've gone on to do. And the film itself, actually, when I was watching it when I was a kid, was actually all right. It was what I wanted. I wanted that, that cheesy sort of anime sort of movie style. So I was more than happy with Pokemon the first movie. I think they've gone on to do like nearly a dozen films.
Yeah, it was
based on that.
unbelievable. I mean, the TV series that was like the run alongside that was like got up to like season 15, 16, I want to say.
Yeah. Did he ever win the tournament? Do you know?
I don't know. I never got to the end.
I remember I used to get up. It was on ITV, I think. I used to get up early. It was on at like 7:30, 6 on a weekend. I used to get up early to watch it. Like no one else was upstairs sleeping. I'd go downstairs. And I remember I watched one where he got to the tournament, and it felt like I'd been watching it for weeks, months. Must have been months. And I was like, this is it. He's finally gonna go through and win it. And he got like duffed out in the second round. And I was devastated. I was devastated.
There was so much build up to just like the most pathetic fight in the universe, and they'd be like, "Oh, go away and train some more."
Yeah, Pikachu got his dick cut off. Or I don't think he even fought with Pikachu. I don't think he ever did. But I was devastated. I was like, Ash, you've blown it. And then from then onwards, I never got to see him win it. So maybe I have to look that up. But that was horrible. But yeah, the Pokemon is just ridiculous what that spawned. The fucking trading cards as well. Mad. And the film was decent. Best game based on a film for me is a recent one, and it doesn't follow the plot not like you say GoldenEye, where it's tied into the film, but Alien Isolation, based on obviously the original Alien film, and that universe, if you will, is just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
How closely it replicates that first film, because Aliens, i.e. Aliens 2, are very, very different films. One's much more action focused, and obviously the original Alien was a horror film, like out and out horror, very little action. It was suspense as well, and that's the route they went down. And
the game really captures that.
Yeah, it fit perfectly for that game, that genre. It is a survival horror game. The alien, he was an absolute boss. You couldn't defeat him. You had to hide. You had to run away and hide. And it's not that. It's just the sounds. They got all the noise, all the little noise you remember from the film were in there. All the way everything looked, it was like 70s, like lo-fi, whatever they call it, setting, where everything looked really big and clunky. And they just nailed it. It was like actually being in the film almost. And they even had DLC where you reenact parts of the film, where you're trying to trap the alien and things like that. So Alien Isolation, it was a good game as well, which helps when you're trying to make these sort of comparisons. But they are that's
it's always important that, because
it plays well.
There's so many crossovers where it just hasn't gone well.
Yeah.
So to do it that well, especially in modern times, like
that's the truth. Yeah.
Because generally you find that most games, or most films now, or a lot of films, I should say, not most, but a lot of films do have a video game spin-off because people realise the amount of money they can make from it.
Yeah.
So for them to do it and not just pump out some drivel and do it well, it's impressive.
That's the thing. You could tell these guys were fans of the film. Like you could just tell that Creative Assembly were locked into that well. They loved it and they done it a good service. But unfortunately, don't believe it sold that well. So I don't think we're going to be seeing a sequel, which is disappointing. Not at the same time quite relieving, because it was stressful playing through that. It was fucking hard, that game. But it's been that. Oscar's done. Leo's got his Oscar. We've done our mini little crappy awards for games to films, films to games. I mean, I think we've had that chat before, but it's nice to go through, me and Hall's favourites. Going to bring Logan back into the mix here with his kind of footballing game knowledge. So, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, they have secured the rights to have Euro 2016 DLC, so you can play through that tournament as part of the main game, or I think it's going to be released separately as well, so you can get hold of that. But being Konami and being the kind of networking they have and the kind of licenses they have, out of the 24 teams that will be taking part in this year's tournament, only 15 are officially licensed. 15 out of 24. That's 9 missing, and Republic of Ireland are one of them, Belgium and Sweden. They're sort of the main highlight ones. Logan, this. You know, FIFA done this a long while ago. I think they done 2012 Euro. I think we even played through one, didn't we, together?
Yeah, that must have been 2004.
No,
Yeah.
it was on 360, surely. I think it was 2012. Don't matter. Maybe 2000. It might have been actually.
It must have been two.
We've blown that.
It must have been apps 2000, or is it 2008? Euro 2008.
Yeah, I think it was 8. Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah. So anyway, we played for the entire European campaign together.
Yeah.
And that had every team licensed, is to my knowledge. Even the ones that were just qualifying were there in namesake.
Yeah.
Pez is not going to have that.
No.
Poor, innit? Really. Well, I mean, maybe their hands are tied, but if you're going to take responsibility for that DLC, I feel like you've got to have the licenses in place. And who's signed that off from UEFA? Gone, yeah, they can have it. And then someone's gone, they can't have these teams though because FIFA have already got them, or whatever the reason is. And they've gone, that's all right. People won't miss Republic of Ireland. I'm sure the fucking Irish will.
It stresses me out. This, I mean, the one that really annoys me because Football Manager has always never had the German national team. It cannot get authorization somehow, being that power that it is now.
That is
you
mad,
still go
isn't it?
on there, and the German national team's all greyed out with random players.
So they exist in the game world, as in they play for. So Schweinsteiger plays for Manchester United, but they're just in the German national team.
Yep, they'll never get called up to a German squad. They'll never play it. But the only time that it does is when they're randomly generated players, I believe. So in the future, they then start sniffing in. Yeah. But I think there must be something that you can do, but I haven't looked into it. But it's always been a botherance, and it always niggles in my mind that that ruins the experience. And the one thing that really annoys me about PES that they don't seem to get is that what they're doing is a simulation game. And I've been on this bandwagon before where I say, if you're going to simulate something, you have to having the correct names, kits, badges is really important. And if you've got like fake names, I don't think you can get away with it as much anymore. I genuinely just don't think you can get away with it. And if you're going to do a special, obviously it's not a special game, but you've got that DLC coming out, which people are going to pay for, no doubt.
Yeah.
Then the least you can do is go to the effort of getting all the bloody nations in and the names properly so that people can bloody play it correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to be, the bloody Eastern England Greens or something?
I don't know. Yeah, it might be like
Southern.
It'd be like Southern Greens or something like that, won't it?
Yeah, and I just think, for God's sake, like, it's honestly, it was acceptable when they first come out because they had that little following. It was all about the gameplay. But I just think if they're the only ones that are doing it, then at least get it in there. It really. I haven't got anything to say other than there's no reason why they can't do it that I know of. It just must be
licensing issues.
What do you mean? If they've got some of them, why can't they get the others? Why are Belgium going?
There is definitely a reason that they can't do it. It's not like they've gone, well, I don't fancy doing these ones.
You say that. They pulled the fucking plug on MGS Tour. They pulled the plug on Silent Hills. It's Konami.
Can't be trusted. You have to remember that. That is a fact.
They still do annoy me.
Why are Belgium going, no?
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's weird. It's weird because Germany's one of the teams that are licensed.
This is what I mean. They've obviously got England, Italy, and then just, like, Belgium are one of the favourites for fucking competition. So how are you not getting that?
No, I mean, looking at it, the actual team names will be fine, but there'll be the players in them won't be real, and this kits won't be real, and there's only one stadium too, which is the Stade de France. So you'll be playing every game at the Stade de France.
It's no good, is it? I mean, when FIFA do it, or sorry, EA, when they do it, you get pretty much all the stadiums that are in scope. You get all the teams, all the players. They go down to a lot of detail to get in the correct stuff for you. So if you're going to do it, Konami, do it properly. And if you can't do it properly, don't bother.
Well, the one thing I will say, not to completely crap on Konami, is that this, if you own PES 2016, this is a free update. It will go in as a free update to your game. So it'll be DLC, but you won't be paying for it. Now, they are releasing a standalone version of this in April. So I assume that's going to be payable, but You haven't got to go out and buy that if you've already got the game. And I think from memory, and I know this from memory, when FIFA had the World Cup and the Euro ones, I know they were separate games.
Yeah.
They were separate kind of. I think they were even full price games.
Yeah.
So they kind of are giving it to you for free if you've already got PES 2016. So can you really get up them too much?
Yes
Freebie
and no.
Cruel in it, but
You
they
can't-
are
you can't-
arseholes.
Yeah. If you
That's
give it,
out of
you
order.
can't complain. If you bought the game, you're getting it for nothing. All right. It depends how much this is going to be if you haven't got the game. Well, I
But you wouldn't buy it though, would you? If you knew that, I don't think many people go
wouldn't.
out and buy that. I wouldn't buy it.
do
No.
it. So I just think you've got to do one or the other, really. In my opinion, you've got to go right. We're going whole hog. We'll release it as actually, I'll tell a lie. I don't think it was a full price release. I remember
Might have
it being
been
about
£10 cheaper.
Yeah, I think it's about 25 quid.
Yeah, maybe.
You pay 25 quid, you get your whole Euro thing, and I think that's acceptable. I'd buy it for that.
Yeah.
Because I haven't bought FIFA this year, so if EA were doing it, they're doing Euro 2014. I'd blown that. If they're doing Euro 2016, I'd be like, yep, I'll have that. But I won't be doing it for PES, not with all them fuck ups.
Yeah, because I remember one of the things you always say about FIFA is you want it to be as real as it could be. So if they had released this package to play through the tournament with everything spot on correctly, names, players, kits, faces, all that, and you could play through the finals of Euro 2016, and it was modestly priced, £25, would that have tempted you in? Because one of the things you've always said is that not having the names, having to edit them, is a pain in the arse. Would that have potentially, you could have gone, oh, hang on, that's not bad for just... Because you're going to get in the fever of it, aren't you, over the summer? When it hits, when England are playing, you're going to be on top of it, and you might fancy playing that.
I'm going to say something that might seem somewhat controversial.
There's no... Go on.
No,
Shock.
I wouldn't, because it's pro.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, if it was FIFA, as I say, I'd do it.
What's wrong with Pro?
Nothing.
It's got everything you need there. It's got all the kit. It's not, but
Pro
in this
shit.
world, that's the note to end it on. Pro shit comes to you courtesy of Joshua Hall.
Mr.
There you
hates
go.
football games. Mr. doesn't play them.
Well, he plays American football now.
Yeah.
Plays that getting on with that still good.
Yeah, I've slowed off on it a bit because I'm getting aggravated that I can't.
It's because the
win.
bloody Super Bowl's gone. That's why you missed it.
Wow.
You want to get it before the Super Bowl, so you're all hyped up. Play it the month in the lead up.
That is true.
That's the way to do it. But then it's not £18, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Last item on the agenda today, or maybe not. I was keeping an eye on the time. I'm
Bumper edition.
This doesn't deserve a bumper edition. That VR was nearly half hour on its own. That's ludicrous because we're going to say it all again in a few months. But this is one you sent through, Logan, about Fallout 4. Fallout 4 sells more digitally than retail on day one.
I wondered why I got no response on this. I thought that someone else might be as surprised that this is me. Somehow made it into the podcast.
Well, no, I mean, that is, when I'm searching for new content from you guys, it means I'm struggling. So that's when when I start using it, it means we're definitely struggling.
that does not surprise me in the slightest.
No, what that stat? No.
Especially if does it include PC?
I would imagine so, and this is what I was going to say. Like 90%, 90% of PC audiences are not are buying a digital copy. I'd say it's probably higher than that. I don't even know if you can find PC versions. Well, anyway, they're not. That's the point. So that whole market share, 90 to 95% of those people get a digital version, unless they're pining after a collector's edition of sorts, which is sometimes format exclusive to the consoles anyway. So that immediately puts them on the front foot for that particular one. That would be my 2 cents in that particular bit. They've come in and bossed that. And it's predominantly the Fallout series. Before Fallout 3, it was a PC only game anyway. So Fallout 1 and 2 and Tactics was PC only. Yeah. It was only Fallout 3 that introduced it to the console peasants, and we all went, "Oh, this is amazing!"
Oh, what's this game that's come out of nowhere?
Yeah, very very different games actually. Isometric original Fallout. I've got it on Steam again. Digital download proves my point. But Loden, you it's almost knocked your hair off, didn't it?
Yeah, but since you've clarified it for me.
Didn't think about it, did you? I didn't think about PC side of things.
All I thought about was,
why is Pete buying that? That's what you thought.
I just thought, I don't know. These digital downloads have been a bugbear of mine anyway. I don't understand why people aren't just popping down the road and saving themselves 15 quid. I can't get my head around it.
Well, the different thing is on PC, you're saving yourself 15 quid by doing it online.
Yeah, agreed.
That's the thing. It's mad.
This is what bothers me. Is it should be cheaper, but it's not. You pay a premium for the convenience, which is bollocks. I don't like it.
PS Plus discount to offer you more value. Digital copies coming at £30. See, I'd consider that. I genuinely would consider a digital copy if it was £10 cheaper.
I'd get it every time.
I think I would, nearly every time.
Paul wouldn't because he has to.
Paul's a collector, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Plus, there's the problem caused with the fact that the Xbox and the PlayStation hard drives are just not big enough.
That is a good point.
To have a library of games on there, so you'd have to buy an external hard drive for all of them.
You can download 2 games and have them stored, and then that's your lot as good as once all the patches fucking pile on top of it.
You say that. I think for most new releases, I'd go alright, and it's not too much of an issue for me because I'd share them between. Well, I've got effectively a terabyte there, so
yeah.
I'd just be like, I don't think it'd be as much.
That will fill up in no time.
Yeah.
Well,
it does
no
go
doubt
quick.
by the end of the cycle, I'll be like, bloody hell. But if there's something there, and if I could just re-download it again, I'll just delete it and then go, right.
The trouble is, some of these big games.
With another 3-hour download.
That's the trouble. The full game of of Fallout, for example, would be like 50 gig. That ain't gonna come down quick. Unless you've got rapid internet. Just leave on overnight. And that's the only problem. It's convenient up until the point you need to get rid of it. And because of the hard drives, if the hard drives were bigger, then absolutely, and they were cheaper, I'd be all over it.
I would invest in a hard drive, external hard drive. Just go right. That's 50 quid.
Plop it on top.
Pop it on top. The amount of games I buy over the lifetime, it will pay itself.
I don't trust that. That upsets me a little. That concerns me doing that. I don't know why. I don't like the idea. I'm just doing a Logan here saying I don't like the idea of, but I do not like the idea of doing that.
It's
I don't
all
know
gone.
Why. There is that. I just don't trust it not to completely fuck me over one day. I would never put my game saves on there, although they are stored in the cloud these days. That would hurt me.
You'll be fine, I reckon, with a solid state hard drive.
Yeah, well,
I have got 5 games installed on my hard drive. Like, obviously, all my disc games. And I've got, in fact, some of them I've uninstalled as well. I've actually got 5 full games installed on my hard drive. And of those, that's including Minecraft, Plants vs Zombies.
How's that still installed?
That's bad.
Badlands, which are all like tiny games. The only real big one I've got is Madden, which was like a 40 gigabyte game or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've used 92% of my hard drive.
That will set you back. Yeah, that will set you back.
I've installed on my Xbox.
Yeah, everything.
6, 12, 18, 24, 36, 42. I've uninstalled 49 games off of my Xbox One.
Yeah, but most of them are those shit monthly games.
Yeah, some of them are.
2 fucking pool games.
But 49 games I've had to uninstall, and I'm still at 92%.
I don't understand what you've got on there then that's doing that. Something's wrong there.
Well, it's not just the games though, is it? It's the saves, it's captures that it automatically does for you. Go, save the video for you and you can't be asked to delete it. What's it doing that for? Fucking Xbox, gets on my nerves. But yeah, it's a
joke, mate.
They are too small. I said this day one, no one believed me, but I would, I think they are too small. 1 terabyte would have been acceptable.
Stop giving me all these fucking downloads every 2 minutes. That's all.
That's what's hurting it as well. That's what people haven't taken into account. I think when they gave 500 gig, they weren't expecting like 5 gig patches day one, then plus another 10 piled on top whilst they fix it.
Every time we go to play Diablo at the minute, they go 3 gig update.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I'm looking now. Madden 16 is only 19.7 gigabytes on my hard drive. Yeah, there are 5 games which are disc games which take up more than that. Starting with, so you got MGS 30, Destiny 35, Gears 45, Black Ops 3 50 gigabytes. Even though I have to put a disc in every time. Halo 5 Guardian 60 gigabytes. Even though I have to put a fucking disc in every time. 60 gig.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah. Absurd.
How much is it to download? Probably less than that. So, fucking it angers me. I've pissed myself off by looking at that. That's fucking horse shit.
Excellent. I'm going to piss you off even more because although we're running short,
Halo 5.
Get rid of that. I've already traded it in. Although we're running a little bit short, I did want to mention this because it's causing a big stir. But I think we spoke about this briefly off air. You two's reaction kind of sums up, you know, what it actually means in real life. So let's do it. The head of content for Assassin's Creed has accused Naughty Dog of using their concept art in a new Uncharted 4 trailer. So when the trailer kicks off, there's one cut to a picture, which I think's Nathan Drake's wall. It's a picture of like a cove on the sea, and it's got a little washed up boat on it and whatnot. And the head of content at Assassin's Creed has posted a screenshot of their concept art for Assassin's Creed 4, and it looks like for like.
No one cares.
They've literally stolen it.
Literally, no one cares.
But it's on all the it's on all the websites. Hall, can't ignore it.
It's concept art. No one cares.
Is it not? Do they not have any sort of Logan? Any legal ramifications? Clutching at straws here, anyway.
The only thing I can think of, if they've got a copyright over any of that or trademarks on it.
Shouldn't put it out there, should they?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Fuck you.
Don't care, Logan. You care though, don't you? This is out of order. You hate it.
No, it's just a bit of art. If it's concept art, they might not have even used it, so it's just creating a fuss. And they go, "We did that." Oh, piss off! No one's going to look at that Uncharted 4 and go.
That's a 10 out of 10 game because of that bit of concept art in the background.
Exactly. They're not.
They ain't adding anything.
Well, it's one piece of concept art they've ripped off and based the whole game around it.
No, exactly.
Case, is it?
It's a picture in the background.
It's a drawing. Is essentially what you're saying. Someone's copied your drawing. People do
what's happened is someone's been watching a video or something and they've seen that and then they've gone, hang on a minute, that looks like the picture that I did. And they've done it. They've gone, oh, what's the picture I did? Look, everyone, look, they've stolen my picture.
No one cares.
No one cares, mate.
No one cares.
You drew it. It's very nice.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Well, the thing is, Naughty Dog have been
Put it on
caught.
the fridge.
I hope they come out and they go, yeah, we did.
Yeah, so do I.
Because we've amended it, it's ours. Yeah.
We're Naughty Dog. We literally do whatever we like. Yeah. You can't hurt us.
Yeah,
we're the Terminator.
We're fucking making Uncharted 4.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be good. The trailer looks really good, actually. I've got your kids, Dan. I've got your kids. But yeah, Uncharted 4 trailer. Go and watch that. Ignore all the crying about a picture. I mean, what are you playing at? It's silly. I mean, the only thing they got in trouble with before is because they kind of stole the lighters for Ellen Page to use for Ellie in Last of Us, and I think she got a bit cross with it.
Yeah, she wasn't happy.
She didn't know until someone went, oh, it looks a bit like you, and she went, what? And tried to have a go at them.
Yeah.
No,
leave it. You, don't care, we do what we want.
They literally did.
Yeah.
That's the end of it.
Let's
wrap this sack of crap up. If you want to get in contact with us, Twitter's at Dimp Digital, Facebook.com/Dimp Digital, email address dimpdigitalmedia@gmail.com. Subscribe to the podcast on Android, use Player FM. If you're not, use iTunes podcast app, that's sitting there. And if you're not on either of those, get a fucking proper phone immediately. You shouldn't be on Windows or BlackBerry unless the BlackBerry's a work phone and the Windows is a work phone. If anything else, it's your personal phone, what you're playing at. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it's just a bad life choice. Just one particular
I'm not sure
choice.
if the Windows operating system's that bad on the phone. I don't know.
Well, when my missus had it had about 4 apps on it. Like, that's a lie. It had about 10 apps, but seriously, there's very little that works on it because no one can be asked. Like most of the banking apps don't work on it because they're like, nah, no one's got it. It's got like a 4% market share, so it's not worth people even bothering with.
No one cares.
Okay. Hall's not caring anymore. It's the end of it. Dimpdigital.com is the website. Head over there as the one-stop shop for all things Dimp Digital. That's it for now. Game over. It's goodbye from Hall.
Ta-ra!
It's goodbye from Logan.
See ya.
It's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time. And ta-da.
Useless shite, that boy.
He's the useless shite.
Hello.
Alright. What, has your sandwich arrived?
No.
Cunt.
I'll just do a code word.
So there's a code word for when your takeaway arrives. What is this sandwich, first of all?
It's just like a Subway, but a fake Subway.
But you could have made it home?
Yeah, but I ain't got any fucking shopping in.
Fair enough. So what's the code word for when this sandwich arrives?
I don't know. What's going to be able to slip into conversation without sounding...
Logan's a cunt.
I might say that before then.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to say there'll be too many sandwiches going on.
Yeah.
They'll snuff it out.
Just say, That is shocking well awful, regardless of what's happening.
You'll probably hear the in the background.
Yeah.
The door going, to be fair.
Say that and then walk away, then we'll know you're gone for an extended period of time. And then when you come back, just cough or something. Just go, ah. So what's the code word?
Oh,
Shocking well awful.
it's shocking, well, awful.
So remember that.
Can't promise anything. I'll try.
There's it's not going to work, is it? Oh. I just can't believe he'd never heard of Mad Max, like the first three, or at least the first two. Mel Gibson's like breakout role.
Awful, wasn't it, from him?
And he was going, no, video game back in the 90s. Inspired Fury Road a decade later, or 2 decades later. He was having a nightmare there, but you opted out. Like, at least you didn't embarrass yourself, that sort of knowledge.
Right.
You kept out of it. Hall, what was your favourite? What do you think your best film to a game is then? So this film that's gone into a game, it's bad wording.
Best film that's become a game.
Yes. So I've got to do some editing
For
here.
someone that has given me the code word of shockingly well awful, you've really struggled to listen out for it the 3 times that I've said it during this.
Did he say it? Did you hear it, Logan?
Yes.
I've switched off to it.
I didn't hear that once.
I didn't
When we
hear
were talking
it.
about, you'll listen back and you will hear it.
If I listen back and it's not there, it's...
Max, I went, that is shockingly well awful.
Now
Right,
you say
add in
it,
extra
it
bits.
rings a bell, but I wasn't paying attention. I'd forgot that was even a key word.
And then I was trying to like drag it out as I'm wandering down the stairs to go and speak to the bloke. I was like, which game? Right, anyway. Right,
That is... I'll have to check that. It's poor.
definitely said it, mate. Right.
I mean, I don't know why a sandwich is taking an hour to be delivered. That would be my question.
Yeah, it always does. Right.
Fuck me.
Ready?
Right, hang on. I'm gonna die.